Hello everyone and welcome back to Clover Knows Pets. I'm Clover and today I'm going to be showing something with In a Pinch Hermit Crab Rescue. If you don't know what that is, I run a home-based hermit crab and exotics rescue in Bayport, Minnesota called In a Pinch Hermit Crab and Exotics Rescue. Anyways, let's get started. Today I'm going to be giving you a full tour of the rescue rack. Anyways, let's start right at the bottom. Now, I do have to have a gate here since I am temporarily keeping Flower the bunny in this room, so her pen is set up here. So in order to access the tanks, I have to come over here. I just unsnip it and it comes right out. I slide it over and now I can access the tanks. Now, I have 4 tanks down here. All of them are 10 gallons and they are used for quarantine and rehab. Now, this is mostly for the hermit crabs, of course, but it is sometimes used for other animals, such as rodents. Now, this is empty, of course, that's why it's so dirty and messed up, but it was recently used to rehab a Egyptian spiny mouse. But yeah, I make sure I have multiple different kinds of lids in order to acclimate hermit crabs that have been kept with low humidity. But yeah, when the tanks are not in use, I normally keep them something like this. Nothing fancy, I've just got some of the Eco-Earth and sand mixture I use for rehabbing hermit crabs. And then the white thing back there is a corrugated plastic lid. And then I also have a hermit crab carrier ready at all times, just in case I would need to take them somewhere as an emergency. I don't know why, but yeah, good to have around. And if you're wondering how you take these tanks out, it's pretty simple. They literally just slide out. Like that. Then you can access them. But yeah, if you're wondering how I keep track of who's in where and what's where, I have little labels on here. If you want to know how to read this sort of thing, I do have a video on that, so go check that out. Anyways, moving on. The only other thing really to show on this bottom shelf is the light. I'm just using a industrial LED light that has a little pole. Moving up, we've got what we call a holding tank. Now, once a hermit crab or hermit crabs are done with quarantine and rehab, they go into a holding tank, which is where they stay until they get adopted. Now, this must look absolutely horrible right now, just because of how messy it is, but promise I will show you the inside in a minute. But basically, this setup is set up like you would have pet hermit crabs on your own, so with everything they need to stay happy and healthy long-term while in our care. Also, just to make it easier for me, I do keep little markers saying what 6 inches is. I know it's less here, that's just because it was kicked up over here, but yeah. Anyways, that's what it says there. Now this is lit up just by these strip lights, and that. The lighting on these things really isn't fancy, but it does its job, so I'm happy with it. Anyways, to access this tank, all you have to do is take the bars, flip it like that, and then the side comes up. Also, if you need to access that side, just do the opposite. For this tank, I have plexiglass lids. And yeah, I also forgot to mention this is a 40-gallon breeder. Anyways, starting on this side, we have the shell shop. Now, in this bottom tank, I do keep most of the large hermit crabs in here, large and mediums. It's like this guy here. Do have some bigger ones in here. One back there, but anyways, because of that, I need larger shells. So yeah, that's what we've got over here. Above that, I've just got some of their staple foods in this magnetized dish. Specifically in these, I have the 24/7 by South of the Ocean. But yeah, over here where this pipe is, this is here to help evaporate moisture from the drainage layer, which I will talk about in a minute. But anyways, in there, I've got this fake plant here for them to climb on. Back there, I've got a saucer wheel. Hermit crab. And then I've just got a few different climbing materials, an open area here, and then all the way back in that corner is where I feed them. And then of course they've got their saltwater dish and freshwater dishes back there. I also forgot to mention that this tank is heated by this heat tape that wraps all the way around. And the bottom tanks, when in use, are heated by little heat pads that stick in between the tanks. This tank is also pretty cool because it has a drainage layer, and I actually didn't even make it. This tank was donated and it already had it installed, but it's actually really helpful and I plan on doing more of these in the future. Basically, it allows it to be a little bit safer to mist the setup if it gets too humid, because normally if you mist your tank, water starts dripping down the sides into the substrate and it will gather water on the bottom of the substrate, and that is both, it stinks and it can also kill your hermit crabs. Something great about this tank though is because of the drainage layer, the water drains down into there instead, and it can later evaporate back into the substrate and up through pipes that are placed on both sides of the back of the tank. So yeah, pretty cool. Right beside the tank is where we keep all of their food, or well, most of it. You'll see the rest later. Now, all of the foods that we feed are LOCOS approved. If you don't know what LOCOS is, it stands for Land Hermit Crab Owners Society, so keep that in mind. Anyways, right at the front, I've got the different spoons for oil and normal, meaning like dry and all of that. Right on the side here, I've got the 2 bigger bags, which are a foraging mix, and the 24/7, which I talked about a bit ago. Then down in the front, I've just got all of the small bags. Most of these are from Hermit Grub and MD Pet Emporium, but I have a few others. I also have some homemade foods here and here. And yeah, basically just all of their food. I'm not going to go through all of it. That would take forever, but yeah. Moving up from all of that, we have the second holding tank. This is a 60-gallon breeder, and it's where we keep all of the small hermit crabs up for adoption. Now, I did just scatter some food around, so they are all out. I know they're going to all hide right now, but yeah. For them, I did a split tank design just so that I had more room for everything. So this area here has the 6 inches of substrate, and then this area over here has all of their shells and their salt and freshwater dishes. Oh, hello. And it's connected by another one of those fake plants from before. So yeah. This is heated by 2 heat mats or heat pads and has a homemade corrugated plastic lid. Now this top shelf here is also where I keep various little decorations and such that I've gotten from various places. For example, CrabCon. This is also where I keep little handy items, for example, a pen, measuring tape, food measurer, notebook, and then a few extra things of food that didn't fit with the rest. Then right here in this blue bin is where I keep all of the bad hermit crab supplies. Now, when people give us their hermit crabs, they often also give us some bad supplies that came with them. Now, no hate at all to the people who gave us this stuff. It is not any of their fault. But since a lot of the food and supplies on the market marketed for hermit crabs is actually not safe for them, I do like to keep that stuff for various events and expos that we sell at. And so I line all of this up and explain why it's not good. And yeah, so I've got painted shells, we've got all of the different bad foods, we've got bad salt and freshwater supplies, bad gauges, humidifier, dish. I mean, we've got a lot. Then over here is where we keep all of the access food. Now, I call it access, but it's not really. It's mostly just foods that we have enough of or don't really use that much. And basically, if somebody is adopting from us and they are a new hermit crab owner, we normally give them a beginner care package, and that'll come with a few different safe foods, shells, supplies, etc. But yeah, so that's what's in here. Now, soon above this, we're going to have this top shelf filled with extra wheels and hides and carriers, saltwater solution, all of that, and that'll all be up there. Just haven't gotten to that yet. But yeah, other than that, that is the whole rescue rack. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And be sure to check out other videos on my channel, because I do explain a lot more in depth on a lot of this stuff there. Anyways, see you next time.